All right, guys, so listen, I want to do a quick video to share with you some of the hard questions that I'm asking my son, right? And normally I don't do videos with him, but today's President's Day, and I asked him, I said, hey, it's your day off. I woke him up, I said, hey, come on into the office and let's do something that's going to be beneficial for people that are between 15 and 30 years old that can learn from me and learn from someone who's in the game, Michael, who's trying to learn. But why did you come in? What is the reason you came in? Because you could have been doing a lot of other things like making money.
I could have done 4 lawns today. I could have done windows or whatever. I could have done marketing for you or whatever.
Right.
But really, I want to make you proud.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You make me proud. Do you want to make me or mom proud more?
More probably you. No hard feelings. I love you, Mom.
What really drove you to get in here? What is the main reason?
Well, I also want to get better at the Airbnb game. Okay. I want to learn more because I just started doing it more often recently.
Right.
And I want to learn how to rent properties and how to manage them and just keep escalating from 1 to 100.
There you go. And that's the game we talk about, guys, about scaling. This is a rental arbitrage. We're just going to rent property. We don't have to own anything. And then we are going to scale this thing to the moon, right? Because we don't have to go through banks to do it. I appreciate coming in. I really do. And I appreciate making me proud, man. It makes me feel good.
How could Airbnb arbitrage be beneficial for someone who's aged 15 to 25 in our today's world?
Well, I think first you have to think about at 15 years old, you can't rent a property yet. Right? If we can't rent a property yet until you're 18 years old, I think the first thing is the mindset, right? We talk a lot about mindset and how it could be important to someone's 15 years old, right? Most of us grown up with go to school, get a job, go to college. Grades. Right, go to college, get good grades,
get a good job,
and then from there you come out and you make your $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. But I think it's how beneficial is to understand in 2024 there's so many people that are getting into entrepreneurship because the risk is so low, especially in arbitrage. You don't even have to buy a property. We're talking about just renting a property and putting it on Airbnb, right? Where there's not like a purchase, right? So the downside is very, very low, but the upside can be astronomical. So I think really between 15 and 25, I think it's beneficial for you to, number one, you see me doing this. You see me doing it all day, right? I think being around people, that's why we do these videos for you guys. Being around people that are winning, being around people that are entrepreneurs, and maybe you didn't grow up with that. Maybe like there's people out there that didn't grow up with someone who's a parent, right? Because parents are telling you to go to 9 to 5. Right? So you got to get out of that matrix. You got to get out of your own head and say, oh, if I don't think that I'm a 9 to 5 person, what could I get into that's going to allow me to work for myself? And so I think for 15 to 25, you're kind of in that adolescent state of age where,
what am I going to do with my life?
What am I going to do, right? And so I ask them this question all the time. What do you want to do, right? And we're going to get to that. But I think the important thing of your question is what could someone 25 to 30 years old or 25 years old be doing is start thinking about what you want to do. Do you want to work for somebody else? Do you want a job or do you want to be self-employed, right? That's the big thing.
I've worked for somebody else. I worked at Winn-Dixie for a while. It was all right for a first job or whatever, but it's not something I would see myself doing in the near future because it's really not my type of thing. I'd be more happy like having my own business where I get to tell people what to do rather than being told what to do.
I have a problem.
I don't like where they're like, all right, go to your lunch break, be back in 30 minutes. I don't like that. I'd rather be like, all right, I'll be back in 2 hours, I'm going to lunch.
Right.
I'd rather.
Or people come to you and say,
hey, can I go to lunch?
Go to lunch, right. All right, well, cool. So 15 to 30 years old, you guys have at least to 25. You got to be thinking about what you're doing in your life, where you're going, and then make that decision in your head that do I want to be my own boss or do I want to basically be told what to do? It is what it is because when you're working at a job, it is what it is. I hope that answers the question.
Another thing, what are your thoughts on someone who's self-employed versus someone who's working a 9 to 5 every day?
Well, I think first thing is self-employed gives you freedom, right? There is risk. There's risk
Absolutely.
Because there's not a steady paycheck. Mm-hmm. And as we were growing up, we got told to get a job because we don't know how to produce, right? Because if you're taking your philosophy of your parents, your grandparents, most of these people that are teaching us, our parents, my parents, right? Luckily, you're kind of breaking the matrix because I'm doing something different than a job. Mm-hmm. But most people are told growing up that to get a job so they have security. Mm-hmm. My thought process on entrepreneurship versus getting a job is, for me, it's not for me. Just like you just said, it's not for me. I'm not going to have somebody tapping on my shoulder telling me to be back in lunch in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Is there risk? Because you need leads. And if you don't have leads, guys, then guess what? There is no paycheck coming in. You are creating the paycheck. And you're giving somebody else an opportunity to work for you. And that's how you can blow this thing up. But is there risk? Of course there's risk. My thought process is this. Without risk, there's no reward.
Right.
And if you're not willing to take a risk to start your own thing, then you're probably going to be caught into the job of, we know what job stands for, right?
Just over broke.
Just over broke, right? And the reason is because you're paid in accordance to your skill set. Meaning, like, if you're a nurse, you're going to get capped at, say, $70,000 a year. They're not just going to go and pay you $200,
right?
Because you don't have that value yet, right? Whereas an entrepreneur has an opportunity of going to tens of millions, 100 million. There's no cap to how much money you can make.
Yeah.
I think a job holds a lot of people back, but I also think that people need to realize that in 2024 there's so much upside to being an entrepreneur and very little downside to, especially in arbitrage. We're just renting a property. We're not using our social. We're just basically renting a property from a landlord and putting it on Airbnb. This is something scaled to the moon.
Right.
But my big thing, Michael, is that I feel like I think more people need to take risk. I don't think the job's the way to go in 2024, 2025, 2027.
You gotta take risks.
You gotta take risk. If you don't take risks, you're just gonna be stuck, and you're gonna be stuck at a job, and then you're gonna be broke. And how are you gonna live when you're broke? How are you gonna take care of yourself? If you can't take care of you, how are you gonna take care of other people? How are you gonna?
Or your family. You could have kids. You could have a wife. You could have someone else living with you, your brother, sister, whatever.
Number one reason for divorce, just so you guys know,
is not having enough money.
Not having enough money. It's lack of money. It's complaints about money. You guys are always fighting about money. You're growing up, you got to think about this. Am I getting into a relationship? Is that relationship going to be strained because of money? Right? And if it's over finances, why does it need to be that? Life's hard enough. We don't need a monkey in our back trying to figure out how we're going to make money every day. Right? I personally think that if you're young right now, you're listening to this, even under 25 years old, and the parents that are listening to this, you guys should be thinking with your kids. Instead of telling them the safe way to go, maybe, again, this is just my opinion, maybe it should be, hey, you should get something on the side. I'm not saying if you're working right now to go, quit your 9 to 5. What I am saying is that you should be thinking about a side income, and then eventually this game can scale very quickly, and then you can wave bye-bye to the 9 to 5. That's the way to do it, right? Or a lot of people I talk to are under 25 are like, hey, I don't even want to go to a job. I just want to start my own thing because I know it's so prevalent right now. So many people are doing it. That's what I would do.
Awesome. What's the difference between you and someone else who's doing coaching for Airbnb arbitrage?
It's night and day. That's not even a.
What's the big differences here? Like, give me like a Venn diagram. You ever seen like the circles?
The big difference in what I do versus another coach. Big difference is I'm number one in the United States.
I know that you do landlord calls. You get the first month free rent, whatever.
Yeah. There's not another person on this planet that's going to get you free rent for your first month, potentially second. There's not another person on this planet that's going to get on the phone with you and the landlord to use their credibility background, their Airbnbs, their experience, their business credit, whatever, their website, their experience. To get you an Airbnb. So one of the things that I do that's separated is my mentor, Grant Cardone. You guys know that I'm straight up 10X because Grant's gave me a lot of ideas and things that helped me make millions over the years, tens of millions. And I'll tell you that the one thing that separates is that he said is that you got to do what 99% of people in the game that you're in are not willing to do. If you do what 99% of people won't do, you'll become number one. So I thought, what is the one thing that no other coach is doing? Number one, they're not taking care of their people, right? It's like you put into a program, there's a lot of videos.
They're just people, they're just clients to them.
Yeah, they're a number.
When you treat your clients like people that you actually care about, like family, you become number one.
So you see how I treat my people in my group?
Yeah.
They're like family. You guys, like anybody who works with me is family, and that's the way I consider it. And when it takes time to help you get a property, I'm the one on the call doing it because I understand people's credit may not be the best. I understand you don't have the experience of having Airbnbs. I understand you don't have a website yet. I understand you don't have references they can call. But what if that was on the backs of me? And that's one thing that I did, and all at once, boom, my students started getting results and coming into the program and just getting property after property, and that's really the big separator right there. Is this really how you treat your students, the family love culture and accountability and the community that I built in my WhatsApp group, and then doing the hands-on stuff that no other coach is willing to do. So, well, let me flip the script because I think this is really important for you.
Before you do, I actually have one more question. What would happen to you and your business, or for anybody who's doing Airbnb arbitrage? What would happen if Airbnb, like the market crashed? Like, what would happen?
Well, nothing would happen because these are rentals. And so when the market crashes, it doesn't hurt us as rental properties. So if you're purchasing a property and the market crashes, then yeah, I mean, that means the housing, the value of the houses are going to go down, which may be, a benefit to someone who's looking to purchase, right? Mm-hmm. But in terms of rental prices always go up. They always have. Rental prices are going up. House prices are generally going up too. But that's, so in a case where Airbnb is not going anywhere. It's in 222 countries. It's a tens of billions of dollars a year in revenue. It's surpassed Hyatt and Hilton in revenue, right? When you really think about people that come out and they'll say, the Airbnb bust. You don't get into Airbnb because it's going to collapse. Okay, when Brian Chesky, the owner, comes and calls me and says, hey, Airbnb's gone, then I'll believe it. But until then, in 220 countries in the world, and tens of billions of dollars of revenue that is projected to surpass hotel revenue in 2027 completely. Well, I don't think it's going anywhere. And we're not buying, so the risk is very low. That's why I was telling you, anybody between 15 and 25, guys, you don't have to buy a property. You should be focusing right now on what you want in your life. You can do this on the side. Your parents can help you with this right here, like I'm helping with Michael. And then when you get to 18 years old, you can have your own property. You can have your own rental property. So remember, we're just renting a property, get the landlord's permission, we put it on Airbnb, and then we rinse and repeat. We do it over and over again. Next thing you know, you build a massive portfolio, and you're good, right? So I wouldn't worry about any collapse, because collapse doesn't hurt Airbnb at all. That hurts the housing market, but not the rental market, and that's what we're in.
Yeah, well, because I get that question a lot, honestly. Because I tell people at school about your business or whatever. I tell them that, yeah, that's my dad, whatever. I show them your channel or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, what's gonna happen whenever the Airbnb stock market crashes? Well, I never really had an answer to that question.
No, it's not gonna affect it at all because we are in arbitrage. We're not purchasing, so it's just rental properties. And even in a crash, people still need a place to live.
No, yeah.
So what's going to happen? Are rentals going to go away? Like just because the market crashes, does that mean that nobody's going to live anywhere? They're going to all be homeless, right? So it's a good question, but it's not going to affect us as Airbnbs.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you're in for the long haul, and like I said, it's in 220 countries. So the fact of it, going away. But tell me about being 15, because I think this is an important question. Here's one of the hard questions I think that needs to be answered. Somebody that's listening who's 15 to 25 years old, what are you doing right now? Because you're a sophomore. Mm-hmm. What are you doing with the drugs and the drinking?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I know it's a good question. That's why I asked it. But truthfully, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, show me your 5 friends, show me your future. It'll show you your future.
Show me your 5. Slow down. I didn't hear you. What?
Show me your 5 friends, and I'll show you your future. The people you hang around with,
that's good,
are the people you're gonna turn into. So if you're hanging out with bums, you're gonna be a bum. If you're hanging out with entrepreneurs who are thinking smarter or thinking bigger, you're gonna be thinking bigger. Now, I go to a Christian private school. There's still drugs there. There's still drugs drinking.
What do you mean there's drugs there? What is going on there?
I mean, people are in the bathroom smoking vapes or whatever. They do it all the time. It's everywhere.
Yeah,
you can't really get away.
Do you do it though?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because it's just like I get in that environment and I just kind of feel like uncomfortable almost. Like I have friends who do it, but like if I'm in the same room as them while they're doing it, it's just I feel uncomfortable. I feel like, yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't want to.
I feel like misplaced. Like I feel like it's just weird.
So you're saying that the weekends essentially are for the week, and the people that are doing drugs, that's why they call it weekend, right? Well, they call it the weekend because it's for the week. Yeah, that's why people that are drinking and drugging and doing stuff on the weekends end up being deadbeats because they're not doing anything. But in terms of school, so you got people that are around you that are doing it, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
You can hang out with them and be influenced by them?
It's like 3 in every 10 people in high school are doing it right now. It's terrible. It's
3 out of 10 people are doing drugs in a bathroom in a Christian private school. What about the drinking? Do you see any of that?
I rarely, but there was a kid who was a really bad drinker, and he would go to school with like water bottles like this big, like filled with like whatever. And one time he did like something like some kind of drug and alcohol together, and he like literally passed out on the floor in the bathroom, and he was like seizing. It was terrible.
So do you guys know there's a big thing called fentanyl out that's dropping people like flies right now?
They had to put like literal Narcan in this kid's nose because he was no, I'm serious. He was seizing. It was terrible. I don't think I've ever told you that.
No.
But he was like, he had to go to the hospital, and then, because his brother, they're brothers, they go to school there, and his brother still goes there. I don't know, he's good friends with him. And it was crazy. Like, he literally just passed out on the floor, started seizing, and we had to go get like teachers or whatever, and they put Narcan in his nose, woke him like instantly up. It was crazy.
So just because it's a private school,
Christian school, yeah, a Christian school,
Christian private school, does that mean that just means the drugs are better probably? Right, they got better stuff.
Higher quality.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, what are your thoughts on college? What have you been taught growing up? Right, just so you guys know, like I've got him 50%, his mom's got him 50%. I'm remarried, but what are you being told on one side with my side, and then like maybe what are you being told from mom?
Well, mom usually tells me, she's usually telling me more like go to college kind of thing, because my school, they offer some kind of scholarship where you get 2 years free college.
Oh.
If you graduate there, you get 2 years free college is where you go actually. And I was honestly thinking about going to college because it's a good idea if you get it for free. I mean, why not go?
Okay.
But I mean, if you're not getting that Rydell scholarship to go to any college you want for 2 years, then I mean, why waste $60,000 plus and lose 4 years of your life for something that you really won't need, unless you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer?
Yeah.
What else would you need college for? Because I mean, you're not going to go into any kind of like entrepreneurship meeting, like I don't know.
I can't think of
psychology.
I can't think of why I used my college. Like it doesn't make sense. Like as an entrepreneur,
What did you major in?
I didn't major. I didn't even finish college. I went to architectural drawing and psychology 101. So basically, didn't even get a minor in it. But I'm just thinking about like if I went there, and I did go for a year and a half, but I don't see the benefit today. So my question for you is, do you want to go, or do you believe that it's what advice would you give to someone who's watching this, or for yourself? What do you want to do?
I mean, well, it's really hard because I have like a choice of whether or not I want to go, and it's free for me. So it's still on the table for me, honestly. Yeah. Because I mean, it's definitely a good idea of going to college and like getting smarter about something like I can do business or something like that.
Right.
But you don't really need it. And there's also going to be, like we were saying, drugs, drinking, all that kind of stuff in college. I mean, it just gets even easier to do it.
Same thing, right?
Yeah. You got frat parties, sororities, whatever.
Right. Well, think about the time, right? 2 years, 4 years, you go to a school, even though it's free, what's more important, time or money?
Money, for sure. Well, time is money.
But what's more important, time or money?
Probably time.
Yeah. Let me give you an example. If I told you I'll give you $1 million, I'll deposit in your account right now. Okay? Would you be happy?
Yeah.
$1 million right now.
Oh, yeah.
But there's one stipulation. You can't get up in the morning. Do you still want the million? No. So what's more important, time or money?
Time.
Yeah. Right? You have to think about this. The only thing we have in our life is an asset, which is the most valuable asset we have is our time. Right? So if he's going to go to college and he's still up in the air, which is an honest question, is he wasting 2 to 4 years of his life where he could be building a company? Where would he get more value? Where would you get more value putting 2 to 4 years into a entrepreneurship business, or going to go get a business degree that you'll make $40,000 a year when you come out? That's the question. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's really what you have to think about, is the time is that you're going to lose where you could be building something.
Yeah.
So
that's 2 years. That's 2 years of your life you could have had. You could have had 3 Airbnbs now. You could have 3 or 4 to maybe even 10.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have been scaling to the moon already.
Here you are building something that you could have a massive portfolio of, like, in 4 years, and literally have 10 Airbnbs, right? Especially if you're working with me.
Right.
You got 10 Airbnbs that, let's just call it, for illustration purposes, you're making $1,500 a month on each of them. Okay. Now you're making $15,000 a month, or 200, whatever that is, almost $200,000 a year, in the same time frame where you're going to come out of college, and even if you were a doctor, you wouldn't make that.
Right.
And you went to school for 8 years, right? So you have to think about those, and where do you see yourself? Like, so you're 15 now. Where do you see yourself in 10? You're 20 now. You're 25. Where do you see yourself if you fast forward kind of 10 years from today? Where would you want to be?
That's a good question. Well, I see myself. I'm thinking like maybe McDonald's or Burger King.
McDonald's. Okay.
I'm just kidding. Well, I see myself partnering with you. You've been a very big impact in my life, and
Thank you.
yeah, you're a very big inspiration to me. I mean, you're my biggest inspiration, biggest motive, biggest drive. I want to make you proud when I see myself partnering with you in some kind of something. I'm not sure exactly what that something is just yet, but I feel like me and you are gonna make this something really big and make millions off of it, for sure. Now,
Don't think so small.
millions, billions even. I don't even know.
Yeah, we'll call it.
You never know yet.
Yeah.
But I'd love to start doing Airbnbs for sure as soon as I turn 18. I mean, I've already started some of it right now.
Yeah.
Just getting to know like the feel of it, like how to get your first month free ride and listening to you on your calls, whatever.
Yep.
I'd like to get my first Airbnb the day I turn 18. That'd be awesome.
Go rent something.
Go rent something.
And by the way, just so you guys know, I'm already working on his credit, so that way when he turns 18, there's not even going to be an issue. Even though credit doesn't matter, he's going to be able to, no questions asked, to be able to go in and do a corporate lease, because I'm working on his credit already, and by that time you'll be in the 750 to 800 easily, and now you could walk in if you want to do corporate leasing in apartments. But yeah, I mean, at 18, I think you should instantly go get yourself a couple units.
Because then even if you don't have, well, wait, even if you have those properties, you still have somewhere to live now. Because when you have those properties, if you don't have anywhere to live, now you got a property to live on.
And the real benefit of Airbnb is that as well. But picture yourself this way. Let's say you got your first couple Airbnb. Now, this is the method I teach guys. You guys got to learn this method, right? Because I'm managing a property right now. It's $51,000 a month in Beverly Hills. If I wanted to take these guys, my family, out to Beverly Hills, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to block off the calendar in Airbnb with that property, and then we can go stay for a week and vacation. So you can't. So looking at it this way, a lot of people want a vacation as well. Pick places where you're going to Airbnb, where you might want to go.
Right.
And then you could just block off your calendar so nobody can book it, and then you go stay there.
There you go.
You get the benefit of both sides, right?
So as an 18-year-old, like as a freshly adult, like a new adult, I feel like the biggest concern is, where am I going to go? Where am I going to live? Am I still going to stay with mom and dad? Or am I going to have my own place?
Right.
Am I going to live with my friend? It's a very big question.
I think a lot of people your age, right, when they get to 18, they start thinking about like getting with friends, because you can split the rent up
Right.
multiple,
Right.
Whereas if your credit is great, number one, he's already driving, right? Just started driving. Number two, your credit will be good because I'm working on it now, right? And so you're not going to have a problem getting a place to rent, Airbnb, or to live in, because your credit will be good. Financially, if you start yourself now, like working with me, periodically over the next 2 years, there's no reason why you can't build up a really good nest egg to be able to just go out and do what you want to do, right?
And with anything, if you start early and you get good at it, I mean, you'll be perfected it.
Yeah.
You'll have perfected it by.
Yeah. You got 2 years.
Isn't it like 10,000 hours or something till you perfect it?
Master. Yeah, you master anything in 10,000 hours. That's right. And so I've put the 10,000 hours into business credit. I put the 10,000 hours into Airbnb. I put the $10,000 into entrepreneurship, right? So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but I think right now you're on the right path, making the decision to stay away from the drugs and drinking, making a decision that it's more important to have, entrepreneurship, because of how easy it is. The downside is very low. The risk is low, but the reward is very high in Airbnb. And three, where do you want to be in 10 years?
Why would someone not want to take that? Like, why would someone not want to take that chance? The reward is high and the risk is low. It's like rather than working 9 to 5. It's like,
because there you're just trading your time. By the way, you guys know, and I don't know
people are like sheep. Like, people are literally sheep.
They're sheep.
They see someone who is like a family member or like mom and dad who does work, and then they're just like
go home.
9 to 5, and they're like, oh, boom.
Well,
they
because
all
that's
want to. Yeah, that's all they want to do.
Right. If you think about most people, it's and that's why we have 90% people that are working, 10% entrepreneurs. Right. 90% of people are 9 to 5s. But when you really think about it, if you want to be in the top 10% in your income earner, if you want to be in the top 10% of working for yourself and doing your own thing, you got to do. You don't want to be the sheep. Right. You don't want to follow the rest of the people, even though your parents grow. Like I said, we were taught, like I was taught this, right? I had to break this curse. Money don't grow on trees, right? My parents said that to me my whole life. Money don't grow on trees.
You still tell me that.
A penny saved, what is it? You know that one?
I don't think so.
A penny saved is a
Just tell me.
penny earned.
Ah,
A penny saved is a penny earned. See, he doesn't even know it because I don't say it. Money don't grow on
trees.
trees.
Money's the root of all evil.
Money's the root of all evil.
I hear that one a lot.
Now listen, you know why? Because he's got somebody on the other side. I'm not, I'm just saying, like, he's got people that are, and it may not be the family on our side. It could be just friends talking to him. So where you got?
I've had people like in my class who I argue with, like, where I tell them, like, people can still be broke and make money from being broke. Their argument's always, well, what if I have kids? What if I have
rely on your kids to make you money.
What if I have kids? What if I have someone to take care of? What if? What if you don't?
What if you don't?
There you go. I mean, and I tell these people, I'm like, there are people who are billionaires, right? And they are millionaires, multimillionaires, whatever, and they put all their money in the bank, right? And they go homeless. I've seen some of the videos on YouTube.
There's a ton of people who do that.
They go homeless for a year, and they make $1 million in that year, to prove that anybody who has $0 and 0 cents in their bank account can make money.
Well, what do you think was the contributing factor to someone who made millions of dollars and then decided to go homeless and then within 6 months to a year was able to do it again? What do you think the reason is they were able to do it again? What was the one skill?
Their knowledge.
Their knowledge.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, if you make $1 million a year, guess what? The person you become to make $1 million a year is what you gain up here. It's who you become.
You can never lose anything up here.
Right, take the car, take the house, take the clothes, take the watches, take the shoes, take whatever you want. But you know what?
You can lose weight, but not knowledge.
You can't take. There you go. Think about that. The one thing that's most valuable, guys, is that you're on my channel every single day learning. I don't do these interviews that often, right? Because I wanted to bring him in on a day that he's off school. And I didn't tell you. I didn't say make him come in today.
No.
I said, hey, you want to come and do it? He said, yeah. So, is it the drive that makes you be here today, or is it what is the real reason that you're here? Like, what? I know we talked about this, but what is the real driving force? Is it?
Well, I don't want to be broke.
I don't want to be broke.
That's the real thing. I don't want to have to rely on a 9-to-5 job or like a job. I don't want to have to rely on anybody else to make money. I want to be able to
make your own.
Make my own. Yeah.
Guys, we are going to chime off, but I think that the most important thing that you can get out of this video is that as a parent, while you're watching this, you got to think about your kids, right? It's not mommy and daddy's economy anymore. It's not a penny saved. It's not a penny saved. It's not money don't grow on trees. Save for rain. All this save. Everybody wants to save, right? What are you saving for? Rains every day in Florida. Stop saving for a rainy day. Okay, you guys are saving because you're afraid you're holding on to money because you're afraid to invest it. You can't work your way to financial freedom. There is no such thing as trading time and being financially free. So you guys are not going to get wealthy by just going to a job every day. What you need to do is think about taking your money and investing your money into the right things. Most important, the first thing you should be investing in is yourself so you can build your skills. And then, once you're invested in yourself, you should say, okay, cool. Mike, can you help me? I'm interested in doing this side thing, or I'm interested in doing this, as a full-time gig. How do I get into the Airbnb game? What are my strategies? What do I need to do? And I'll walk you through and hold your hand throughout the entire process. Yeah.
Think about what you want for your kids. If you're a parent and you have kids who are my age or younger or even 18 or older, think about what you want for them. Do you want them to be broke their whole life, or do you want them to be multimillionaires? Do you want them to put you in a retirement home, or do you want them to take care of you?
So as a parent, that's a great, right? But as a parent, he's saying that as a parent. Now, what about someone who's 15 to 25? What advice would you give someone like this?
I mean, it's all about drive, and it's not something that you don't usually see. Most 15-year-olds are playing video games, doing drugs, drinking alcohol, whatever. It's even less than like 1% of 15-year-olds that are doing what we're doing.
I agree. I think
it's very slim. But any advice I would say get into it now. Start now. It's better to start early than late. If you start something now, you'll get better at it, and you'll be able to build it by the time you're 18.
And now, like when I was a kid, I didn't have, like when I was growing up through entrepreneurship, I didn't have videos like this, right? We didn't have this kind of stuff. I didn't even have a cell phone when I grew up. He's got like me to help him learn. He's got videos, my videos on social media that you can always go to learn, right? So the big thing, again, and we keep talking, going back to this, is the mindset. 80% of your success comes right between your ears. And if you guys believe, that truly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to be the best. You believe it, dream it, you can achieve it. Put the time in. Start now. Tomorrow is too late. Get in the game. Sit on the sidelines. You're going to wait and watch everybody else become successful. Where he's starting now at 15, by the time he's 18, he's going to know the entire game. He's going to hit 18 years old and rip and run with multiple properties, right? Whereas, like I said, the normal 15-year-old is drinking and drugging and watching video games all day and not even caring about that or thinking about what their future is. So, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
As always, love you. And remember that in life, it's just about what you want. You can have the comfortable life, but just remember this. The comfortable life today will result in a hard life later. If you pay the price today, listen to this twice. If you pay the price today, you can pay any price in the future.